that's the basis. Kind of outlined a lot more about also what is projected to occur. It's not projected, it happens every universe. It's just, that's the exit, that's the entrance. Whenever we come around to it, that's how it works. We build a bridge using our consciousness, or more so our awareness, because right now we're using consciousness and it's just a repeating pattern. And it's hijackable. It's easily hijackable. All you need is a couple scalar devices, or drugs, or, you know, scary stories, or desires, temptations, whatever it is. You can hijack a person's consciousness. That's how it works. You know, if a person is spooked into a certain response, you might not think, well, they got hijacked, versus if some guy has a beam and he's like, go over there, and the person like walks that way. But it's the same thing. If you can take over the world with words and images, it's the same thing. And that's consciousness, biological consciousness. Awareness can't be changed. You can't, you know, you got an orange in your hand, and you're like, do not be aware of this orange. It doesn't exist. It's not going to work. The more you do that, the more they're aware of it. That's the whole point. Now, you can, you know, in a way, distract them. You know, say you have an apple on the other hand, but, you know, and that's possible, but imagine then the orange is that which they are using to perceive reality with, instead of something outside them, but it's themselves. You can consciously get them to focus on other things, but the awareness that's being present in the moment to be conscious of those other things, it can never really go away. We can just get entangled in this consciousness, you know, like schema hall of mirrors, where we're focused on so many external things that we're not really utilizing awareness to the point where we're self-aware. We're aware of our own awareness. And that's kind of the idea. You can't remove it, but you can make people forget about it momentarily. And so all that is a downhill kind of trend, which with these events that push people to, going along with what I said in the previous video, to purge or uncover or activate these corrupt elements of DNA and consciousness that are inputted from the past, from these past events, that it goes one way or another. It's like tipping the scales at that point. And as these individuals begin to input into reality the self-awareness, the compassion, the truth, the honesty, the free will, the knowledge of the self, the basically that's it. You know, the basic staples, the principles of the human soul, and the existence here versus the stuff we have here that we can play with. And that has nothing to do with anything. It's debris. The internal aspect of that, there's a props. The internal aspect is a self-observation aspect. It's immaterial, but it knows everything and it feels everything. And so the more we interact with that and input that and click on those variables that increase that through self-awareness, then the more that trend begins to shift, and the more the weights go one way or the other still. But when it comes down to it, if there is a solid core that, you know, the fastest change happens of all the variables accelerating all at once, and as long as there's that core that's capable of handling the pressure, all that will do is make that core stronger, activate fully, and then expand that energy and basically experience out into everyone in the proximity, everyone in the environment. Literally like the text editor, the 4D, the script of the Choose Your Own Adventure game, or the visual, the simulation and the code, the underlying code. It's as if those 5D variables that are outside of space-time, once they get activated solidly by some event that kind of forces people into an activation, if you will, it bleeds down, if you will, and overpowers the 4D proximal probabilities that are based on basically just ignorance, deception, abuse or separation, chaos, lower animalistic behaviors, linearity, and basically automation. It's like all these non-integral aspects of existence. It's kind of the partial aspects. Sure, separation, chaos, that's what's going on here. But if you look at society, you know, the universe, time, space, all this stuff, which is highly illusory, and you say, it's just a jumble, it's just a mess, nothing's going on there, it's just chaos. Well, you're clearly missing the point. That's the whole idea. What's really happening, the substance here, is the harmony that is to be seen. You can look at the chaos all you want, but that has nothing to do with the actual experience of being here. For instance, you know, if it was just chaos, just harmony, you wouldn't even be able to form words. That's the whole point. And so, but what happens when the little bit of chaos, relatively, that is here becomes compared, contrasted, connected, relative to the probabilities and possibilities of complete harmony, complete compassion, complete unification, and complete free will in the face of all of that, they melt away. That's the whole point. They don't. It doesn't have, you know, power against it. And I don't want to get into light and dark duality because that's just the game. It's just another aspect of the simulation. But truth, if you will, and free will, when it's fully self-awakened and, intentionally present, it can't be taken away. And so then the ideas I'm trying to say is the more stuff people are putting out there to say, chaos and disaster and distraction and deception and pain and suffering and temptation. Well, in the situation, in the system where that core group is present and you can't take away that free will and self-awareness, all that's going to do is make it stronger. And it's going to get stronger and stronger. And then what are they going to do? Be aware, be more happy, here's money for everyone. There's nothing that they could do at that point to hold people down. That's the whole point. That once that equilibrium is met, that vector equilibrium or fulcrum is achieved, there's no turning back. You can't slow down. It's like reaching the singularity for speed, if you will, where it takes more energy to stop than it does to get up to the speed of light or something, whatever we're looking at in a medium.